Hi everyone. Okay, before we start, let's us just go through the whole agenda for this session, and then after that, I'll move on to introduce Adi to everybody. Okay. So yeah, first of all, we'll go through. I'll just go through the guidelines once again for this whole entire session, and then after that, we'll move on to introduction section where you can actually meet and know more about Adi and his business, and also then we'll move on to our sharing session where Adi will be sharing his entrepreneurship journey. And then Q&A session is where we will be answering your pre-submitted question and also question you might have throughout the whole entire session. Yeah. And then we'll have the closing where we'll introduce to you the next Tauke Talk session and also our ongoing competition Diam Diam Ubi Berisi. So before we start, I'll just go through the guideline. Just a kindly reminder to please stay muted and also please close your camera. Yeah. And if you have any question that you would like to ask Adi throughout the whole entire session, please leave it in the chat. Our team will be noting all your questions and will be answering it in the Q&A session. And if you're communicating through the chat, please do use respectful language as well. So my name is Cindy and I'll be your host today. Welcome to Tauke Talks, a series of sharing session where small but mighty business owners share about their motivation on how they start their business and their journey. This sharing session is brought to you by RISE, a Malaysian research and social outreach project that empowers Malaysian youth through entrepreneurship. And RISE is supported by City Foundation. So we believe that entrepreneurship is not only for the big startup companies that has high technology, but also small and mighty business such as Adi and Aida. We want to share and showcase these stories from small local businesses and show their stories of how they're persevering and still chasing their dreams despite the circumstances. So I'm very happy and honored to welcome Adi from Adi and Aida today. Welcome.
Hi.
Yay.
Hi. Hi,
Welcome to
everybody.
Tauke Talks.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So this is Adi, everybody. So he is the co-founder of Adi and Aida. So before we go into the main sharing session, Adi, can you tell us a little bit about your business? You know, what kind of service you offer, the products you offer, how can they actually find out more about Adi Aida?
All right. Hi. Well, again, I'm Adi. I'm one half of Adi Aida. So we are a husband and wife duo, self-taught woodworkers. We've been doing it since 2015. We predominantly design and build furniture. We started with designing and building furniture. And then we now specialize in kitchen islands, TV cabinets, side cabinets, and also the occasional coffee table and dining tables. Apart from that, we also teach in schools, of course, before the MCO. So we were quite active in the after-school programs in school. We conducted the woodworking clubs in an international school in KL. So, of course, with the pandemic, that's put on hold. Apart from that, we also offer woodworking workshops on weekends, mainly for women. But we've also already started having couples woodworking workshop. And since the start, 2015, we've had kids woodworking workshop. So we started with the kids woodworking workshop, and then gradually we introduced the women woodworking workshop. And then, of course, with the overwhelming response for the women, we also had men wanting to join. So we still wanted to have it skewed towards, well, more inclined towards the women. So we introduced the couples working workshop. And also now with the MCO and of course our inability to host workshops, we've just introduced our build at home DIY kits. So you can find out more about that on our Instagram. Now we are very active just on Instagram, not on Facebook, unfortunately. So so there you'll see whatever we have on offer in terms of our build at home kits.
Great. So if you like to, like what Adi said, if you like to find out more about, you know, Adi and Aida, or you just want to check them out, you can just go to the Instagram and just find out more there. Their handle is at Adi and Aida. Yep. Great. So we're excited to hear about your journey. Could you share a little bit about like what inspired you to start your own business? Why particularly, you know, wood making?
Well, before we did this full time, I was with an NGO that built houses for the orang asli. So that was where I really had well, before that, the only DIY skills that I had was like hanging up picture frames, drilling the
Yeah.
occasional wrong hole and then have to patch it up and then do a new hole.
Yeah.
So my skills or woodworking skills or DIY skills was only limited to putting up frames and putting together IKEA furnitures. But when I was building with the when I was with the NGO on my free time, I started dabbling into woodworking. Just learning, doing and practicing and building small stuff. I started with simple furnitures for like friends and family. And then doing it over and over again, it became a bit I grew to enjoy it. I know the design and then the actual building of it. So then at the end of around 2014, I got my first solo project. Nothing extensive, just a couple of furnitures. So I did that with help of some friends, and we got that done. And then in 2015, Aida and I got our first big break. That was when we were given a job to fully kit out an office. So it's like it's a whole office, right? And then it's like they had this wall, this like 20-meter wall that they wanted shelves, and then they wanted a pantry, they wanted all sorts of stuff, even a swing inside the office.
Swing. Okay.
I don't know why they wanted a swing, but I think maybe a chill out section in the office. Yeah, so it took us a month. It was just the two of us. It took us a month, and then well, of course we needed help, so we enticed Aida's siblings to help us,
Okay.
working late nights and all that. Yeah, but they were duly compensated, of course. So we did it in a month, and then we thought to ourselves, look, I mean, we could do this. It's something that would normally take a huge team to do, and we did it just the two of us, and of course with help from our siblings. So let's just start doing this full time, and that's how Adi Aida started. Just with one big break, just that one opportunity.
Wow. I guess Aida also like dabble. I think is it because of you, Adi, that Aida also dabble into woodworking? You brought her into this industry.
Yeah, I mean, she grew to love it as well. So throughout our journey, we both learned together. So and we teach each other, So through experiences and of course mistakes and all that. So it's been a journey, and it's been something that we both we have each other's back, for that thing.
Right. Oh, that's so cute.
Thank you.
That's so
Thank you.
inspiring.
Thank you.
Also, you had no background in the creative like woodworking industry. You just
just
by
learning
chance.
learning on my own, self-taught. Yeah.
Self-taught. Great. With self-taught, I guess there were a lot of challenges when you first started, right? Could you share a little bit, like maybe one or two challenges, and maybe how you and Aida actually overcome those challenges?
Like with any businesses that if you want to start, there's always capital first, right? You need capital to start. So so that was one major hurdle that we had to overcome. But thankfully we have had tremendous support from our family. So they got us started in that sense. And then and also we had it was truly a blessing. We had an uncle or a friend of mine, his father was a woodworker, part-time woodworker. So he's been collecting these machines and tools for when he wanted to retire, and then start and do it as a hobby post retirement. So so he's not retired, and he still has not retired. So at the start he loaned us this all these machines that we did not know how to use, but we knew that if we want to do something, we needed these machines at least. We had an inkling of what we needed at the start. So we knew that we needed a couple of tools that is of course vital to start a woodworking business. So thankfully with that coming in, not many would have that kind of opportunity, but it was a blessing to us that we had that. So a lot of our capital was not so much to buying assets, but was more like rolling costs or buying materials, and of course setting up the workshop when we first started out. We started off our workshop like with tools all over the place, but we just wanted to get the job started. So until we got into a cycle, then we started reorganizing ourselves, and we still do it until now. It's been what, 6 years, and we're still reorganizing ourselves, trying to see how we can make ourselves better. The other struggle at the start of any business is how do you get clients?
Right.
Yeah, because you've got income, you've got capital in, but this is depleting as you go along. So you need recurring income. So that was another struggle. Not struggle, but of course, like most businesses, you start off with that. So we started off with word of mouth. So we had friends, we had family introducing to friends introducing to friends. So that's how we started. So with that perseverance, hard work, long hours, so we started then garnering a following, So but also throughout, not just wanting to depend on word of mouth. So we also tried as many options as we can, like going to craft markets, those weekend markets. So we'll set up a booth. We will have our products there for sale. We'll have not furnitures, but I mean small products that we build in between furniture jobs. We've also tried having our products on consignment at some retail outlets. So we've tried it all. So not everything, but we've tried all that we could see us doing. But then we had to evaluate what was working and what wasn't working, and so we finally and now we have settled into what we are doing nowadays, what we are doing today. So I guess as an entrepreneur, you really just have to really go out there to really see what works for you. Not everything in the book would work for you, right? So you really got to feel the market. You really got to feel what is needed and how you're gonna tackle it. So yeah, and not everything's gonna work in your favor. Out of any maybe 10 attempts, maybe one will work, but that one thing might really hit it off. So we've tried it all, and then most of it, and now we just settled into what we know we're good at. So this is where we are at the moment.
Right. Great. I think because correct me if I'm wrong, you're the first duo to actually start this kind of business, right, in Malaysia? Like woodworking.
I mean, there are a lot of when it comes to carpentry, or when it comes to woodworking or artisanal woodworking. So we cannot call ourselves really artists, but I mean artisanal woodworkers, as opposed to the big companies that has factories and all that. There are quite a few husband and wife team, their friends and all that. So we wouldn't say that we are the first, but we are maybe one of the earlier ones, but we're somewhere in between. So there is a batch before, then there's us, and then there are up and coming ones. So somewhere there and about, yeah.
Okay. I think because you mentioned about getting client was an issue in the beginning. Is that why you guys actually created like a woman's workshop and a kids workshop? Because you guys were trying to maybe like see what kind of potential reach you can actually go and venture into?
Oh no, actually our workshops was something that we did concurrent. So we had our woodworking, and we had our design and build that was ongoing. That was what really started us off, right? So going to the workshop, going to craft markets, and going to having our products on consignment at retail. So that was more extending or diversifying what we had in that portion of our business.
Right? Okay.
But then but concurrent to when we started, we were also approached by a parent that was part of a homeschool community. So she came up to us asking whether we could do workshop for kids.
Right.
So we've only just started our business in carpentry, and we thought that okay, working with kids will be fun. This is something that that might be a skill. That is a skill that's lacking, and there is that opportunity to share whatever experiences we have and just teach kids. So we started with that.
Right.
So since the start of Adi Aida, furniture builds and kids woodworking workshop were concurrent. There were two parts of the business. So then we came to a point that we thought that, okay, we've expanded on our carpentry business, right? And that is somehow steadying itself. And we just thought that maybe, okay, let's see how we can offer our woodworking classes or share our experiences, share our knowledge and skills. So we thought that we wanted to start, and we did start immediately with providing or starting workshop for women and women only. So that's how it started. So we started off with two parts to the business, the professional part or the artisanal part, and then the educating part, the teaching part. So it has always been like that from the start.
Okay. Did you ever what made you think that diversifying was actually a right thing to do? Because I understand there's only you and Aida, right?
Yes.
Did you ever felt like, oh, actually it's quite risky, only two of us and we're doing one workshop and then we're doing our carpentry at the same time? Was there ever that kind of doubt when you were trying to diversify?
Diversifying was something that was very organic for us, lah. It's not something that that we we went off on a whim. So we had our business, our carpentry business ongoing. We already had our workshops. Not really. We at the start of our woodworking workshop for kids, we didn't really market it. So it was still through word of mouth. It was still through the homeschooling network that we had. Then when it gradually when we thought that we needed to up the game, right? We knew that it was going to be it's going to be time consuming. It's going to be very tiring, of course, and then we are looking at the possibility of us being put in so many directions at all the time. But I think it was a more calculated risk. Not calculated. It was a more calculated move, because we needed to, and then we wanted to. So we, of course, we started off with a pilot first. We didn't go in full bang. This is what we're gonna do. This is the workshops that we're gonna do. We started with one. We tried to understand, because the dynamics of teaching to adults as opposed to teaching to kids, very different. But fundamentally, the structure is almost the same. Right? It's just the delivery of how we teach. Like for children, we know attention span 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and then you've got to distract them with something. Right? Yeah. So that's how we keep the kids engaged. So to do all that, of course, with adults it's different. We could go full bang. So we even our delivery of the classes have evolved. We started with a certain framework, and that it has evolved because through practice. Right. So answering that, we knew that we started with a pilot, and then it worked, and then of course somehow it got in the back seat, because then we shifted back to our carpentry business, the carpentry side of the business, right? And then September 2019 was when we officially launched our woodworking workshop for women, and it went on like right up until the first MCO, so that's a good 6 months. And then of course the breaks in between because of the CMCO and all that. But to date, we have had close to, or if not more than 300 women that have walked through our doors, and joined us for our workshops, and spending that 4 or 5 hours on a weekend with us. So that's how it is. So of course, at that moment, and when it started, for the first 3 months, it was totally hectic. We had commission bills that we had to juggle. We were at schools twice a week, and then we had workshops on Saturday and Sunday. So we took our break whenever we could, whatever time we had. Now, if it was just one day that we could just not do anything, we would just take it. Yeah. And then suddenly, slowly, of course, learning everything, and of course, it's a learning curve. because we started it. We didn't do market research. Now we are a small business that we really had to go with our gut feeling. And like I said, being an entrepreneur, we've just got to get down and get dirty, so to speak. So we did that. So the first 3 months was hectic. We were pulled in so many directions. But once we started getting into a groove, then it just became clockwork. And that's how it is. There will always be a gestation period where the learning curve is pretty steep. So that's where you start. And then as you get into it, and then you understand, and then you develop, and you reevaluate or you reposition yourself, and then suddenly it'll be just like clockwork. And that's how it's been. So thankfully, and that's just the two of us. And it has always been just the two of us. So you've got the two of us building and designing furniture. You've got the two of us going to schools teaching kids, 8 at a time. And then we also got women coming and learning with us on weekends, like 4 to 6 of them at a time. So yes. So it has grown. It has grown to that.
Which I find really amazing. Just the two of you being able to balance it all. I guess, like what you said, a learning curve, and then you guys didn't start off perfect, but you guys learn as you go.
Yes.
Great. Because I think you mentioned just now something about during MCO and CMCO. Then my next question for you what were the challenges that your business actually faced during the pandemic, and how did you actually adapt your business to fit that moment of time?
Yeah. So because we had two arms, two sides to the business, right? So at any time we could always just play around with the ratio. The ratio, like inverted commas, the ratio as in what emphasis we're going to put on which part of the business. So prior to the pandemic, right, or prior to the MCO and its variants, we were teaching at schools and we had our workshops on weekends. So that provided a steady income, right? Because when we're teaching at schools, we do that twice a week, and we are paid X amount for that. When we are doing our workshops on weekends, we got X amount of participants or X amount of women, so that is the income there as well. And this is all planned because we come up with the schedule for the whole month or 2 months in advance, and thankfully, and we're so thankful that every time we come up with our schedule, it's fully taken up. So that's good. But so there was the ability to shift and then to fluidly move between the income streams. So when the MCO hit and we couldn't be in schools and we couldn't conduct our workshops, right? So we didn't want to be caught up in the bind, right? So what we did was then because it's so fluid, because it's just the two of us, we could easily make a decision then, and then we shift. So our focus then was more towards our furniture bills, which we promoted via Instagram. And why furniture bills suited us for the MCO was because that in our experience, we never meet our clients. So a lot of it will be via Instagram, then they'll message us and then they'll WhatsApp us. Sometimes from design to build and delivery, we don't meet our clients. Designs are sent, drawings are sent, they approve, the costs are given, they approve, then we just build and then we deliver. And deliver also we use a third party to deliver. So sometimes we don't even meet our clients.
Okay.
so the beauty of that kind of business allowed us to sustain during the MCO, where we couldn't go out, but we could still operate in our workshop. So that was how we overcame and how we adapt the ability and the fluidity and and being very dynamic, because it's just two of us. We could just make a decision there and then it's done, and then we'll just follow through with that. And then when the situation suits us again to open up, then we shift again. So we start putting more emphasis on our workshops. So that is really one of the beauty of being an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur in a lean organization. There's no red tape. I don't have to go to 3 bosses just to have my leave approved, or just to buy a coffee machine for the pantry, that kind of thing. So that is one of the beauty. But of course, it comes with these challenges as well, when you're working in a lean organization. So that was how we adapted, and that was how, and even now in this current MCO, that's how we are. That's how we are managing ourselves now.
Great. So the flexibility of the business actually kind of saves it and makes you
Yes,
sustain throughout.
yes,
Great. That's
yes.
good to hear.
Yeah. And also
Um,
being quick off your feet, like,
right.
you got to think quick, you got to organize, you've got to like get it out there and all that, that kind of,
Right.
yeah.
Great. So I think the good thing is that I think you and Ida must be really good and fast decision makers by now because of having to run your business.
Oh yeah, we try to be. But there are days that
Mm.
we will sit on a decision for so long, and then of course, not
Yeah.
all decision comes without argument. So I mean,
Mm.
it's all in there, like, how you have a boardroom full of different
Mm.
characters trying to come up with one decision. It's the same,
Right.
but it's
Mm.
just that if the two of us is a bit easier. Yeah, it's a
Right.
balance. So we balance each other out. So Ida will have her thoughts and I have my thoughts, and then we'll always have to come to a compromise, So
Right.
because at any time, because there's two of us, it's always a stalemate. So it's either we vote for or we vote against. It'll always be a
Okay.
stalemate. So yes,
Alright.
the compromise is key.
Yeah, I think that also work if like you have a partner, like a business partner. Yeah, great, good to hear that.
Thank
My
you.
next question for you would be with the uncertainty caused by the pandemic, right, that is still going on right now. How are you guys planning to help, your business to maintain or maybe grow?
Yes. So like I said, we first and foremost, we did the realignment of what we emphasize in terms of what we wanted to do. So that was the
Mm,
furniture bill. So of course
mm,
we couldn't do the workshops anymore. We couldn't be in schools anymore for the time being, of
right.
course. So we shifted to that. So a lot of our emphasis are on that.
Mm,
But also on top of that, we didn't want the momentum of what we've built so far with our workshops for kids and
mm,
for women. We didn't want that
mm,
momentum to die down during the
right.
MCO. There will be
Mm,
downtimes and downtimes when you've really garnered your momentum, right? And then you hit a
right.
plateau because of external factors, and it starts
Mm,
to dip. So
right.
so we had to figure out on how we could get that momentum going, because they
Mm,
cannot physically be in our workshops,
right.
right? So what we came up with the build at home kits.
Mm,
So that means they can still immerse themselves in the woodworking aspect of putting together
mm,
a piece of a woodworking project that they can build
right.
at home. So
Mm,
that woodworking project, that the build at home kits that we've introduced,
mm,
it is, well, it's suitable, it's universal. So that means
right.
children can do it, um, adults can do it as well. Of course, children has to do it with parental supervision, like adult
Yeah.
supervision. Yeah, but we wanted to, especially for the women that have come to our workshop, we had some of them also ordering from us. So we
Mm,
just thought that, yes, we cannot physically share the workshop experience with you, but
yeah.
we can have a glimpse of that at the comfort of
Yeah.
your own home. That
Mm,
means you can still
mm,
do it. You can still do it at home.
mm,
You're doing it at the comfort of your own home, as long as you have a space. Very
mm,
simple, minimal, basic working tools, and then just
mm,
putting everything together. So everything's provided. So you'll get
mm,
glue, you'll get all the parts, you'll get a video that you can see and how to assemble,
mm,
and then you've got nails. So all you need is just basically a hammer, lah, to
yeah.
get started, and then you can immerse yourself in, or to
Mm,
actually just have a preview of the workshop experience. But you're doing it
right.
at the comfort of your own home, you're in aircon
Mm,
room,
mm, yeah.
that kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. But still, but we wanted that momentum going. We
Yeah.
wanted we wanted the ability to share the experience with with
Right.
with with the consumers in that sense. So,
Mm,
so that was something that we just recently decided to do,
mm,
and by the looks of it, we've been getting some very 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 overwhelming responses. So it
yeah.
might be something that we might want to introduce more, well, not really complex, but I mean different
Mm,
kind of projects
I
for home.
see.
And
Great.
then when
I,
MCO is lifted and everybody,
yeah.
oh, I've been doing it at home, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And then when we're ready to open our doors again, then
Yeah.
yes, hopefully everybody will
Yeah.
come and be able to
Yeah.
experience it firsthand. Yeah.
So
Yeah, so that,
enticing them with a slice of cake to lead
yes,
them to the
yes,
biggest piece.
yes,
Okay,
exactly. Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Just give them candies first, and then hopefully they'll come and buy the cake later on,
Yeah. Great. That's good to hear that actually you guys are doing quite well. And I've also kind of like look at your Instagram and saw a few of them, and I saw that it's quite interesting, and I also would want to be a part of that.
Yes. Do join us when we are all okay to open up again.
Yeah. Great. So moving on to my next question, what would you say is the one of your proudest achievement to date with Adi and Aida? Just one.
There are some really gratifying moments, but I think it is really the women's woodworking workshop. I think today that ranks highest in what we think is one of our greatest achievements. You've got women that really look forward to reliving the Kemahiran Hidup days.
Right.
So it was Kemahiran Hidup in school, and then nothing, and then suddenly is what we have to offer. So it's that. So they really come in, they tell, hey, look, we really miss Kemahiran Hidup. We really enjoyed ourselves, even though it didn't turn out how it was supposed to turn out, but the experience was there. So we've had besties come. We had people coming with their best friends, organizing. The Yom, let's join this workshop. So we've got besties coming. We've got mother and daughter that's come in. We've even had grandma as old as
wow.
We had a grandma age 67. I cannot say as old as, but I mean a grandma age 67, right? Come in and build our introductory project, as well as coming back and building a more complex furniture. You see how our workshop work is that you come in because of course from Kemahiran Hidup until now is basically non-existent, right? Your woodworking experience. So of course you come in and you start with us with an intro project, which is basically more organizational, tabletop project. Nothing big, but it's good. It's enough to get you started learning the tools, learning the basic techniques, right? And then once you completed that, and then you already, of course, with completing that, your confidence level skyrockets immediately. It's like you come in so timid. Oh, I'm so scared. I'm not scared. I'm not too sure whether I can handle it. But then at the end of the day, you see them really so proud of what they build, that they've taken home. The fun, and then the whole experience and the whole atmosphere. It is so overwhelming. And to have, I think, close to, if not more than 300 women already building with us over the course of effectively maybe 9 months. It goes to show that people really are looking for this kind of there are different workshops. You've got the pottery, you've got terrariums and all that. So woodworking is I think relatively new in terms of a workshop offering. And then and on top of that, specifically for women, I mean, just to see them live, and we are, I think we are the first to offer, and first and maybe only women only workshop, right? So, and to see them come in and see them transform in the course of 4 hours, right? They come in, learn, and then they are immediately transformed. And then they're full of joy and the pride that that they bring back what they built with their own two hands. That's for us and me personally, really gratifying. Really, it is. So that is, I would say, our greatest achievement to date.
I think also like Adi and Aida, you guys actually really broke through the gender stereotype regarding to woodworking, and actually give us women an opportunity to actually dabble into a field that we won't likely go into. So I think that's great, and I'm glad to hear that that's your proudest achievement to date.
That is the sole reason. That is the sole reason why we wanted to start that. We wanted to have that environment where it is safe, where it's conducive for women to just be able to do it, without any external pressures, Because a lot of these women, they have the tools around at home. Now, of course, it may not be theirs, but a few of them have their own tools, and that's nice. But I mean, they already had the tools. So what we want to do is we just want them to be able to be comfortable, so that they can then, so that's the kind of environment, and that's the kind of takeaway that we want to achieve.
Great. Nice. That's great to hear. Okay, now moving on to my next question. Do you have an entrepreneur that you admire? If you don't have, you don't have to say it. I know some people they don't really have, but if you have, you could share a bit.
Yeah. Well, there's just so many that that's around. The big money makers, so to speak. I mean, for me, one that I really admire, it's closer to heart. That's my dad. My dad started off in Penang. My dad started his career as an academician. He was in a university in Penang. He was a lecturer and professor. And then we moved to KL. And that was when he was given an opportunity to start a business. So he seized it. Coming to KL, of course, not immediately coming to KL. He took on the opportunity, but in the early years of us moving to KL, then an opportunity came, and then he seized it. And well, any businesses will have seen its ups and downs. So his was hit hardest during the 98 financial crisis that we had. So then, of course, it hit a lot of people. But then, but he persevered. And then, he's happily retired now. Enjoying his time off. So there are a lot of seeing him maneuver through the business world and what he wanted, what he was doing. So it was quite inspiring to see that, it's about seizing an opportunity, right? And then putting in the hard work, persevere, picking yourself up whenever you fall, right? I mean, lessons learned are not always, but I'm also inspired by what he may have lacked as well. Because of him having a business of his own, was the work-life balance. When you're an entrepreneur, there are a lot of the scales, right, of the work-life balance will normally tip one way or the other. So to get that balance, to get the equilibrium, it's key, right? So in pursuit of whatever that you are seeking as an entrepreneur, I believe to experience and to seeing it and growing up, that is key. Keeping that equilibrium. In pursuit of a career or a business shouldn't come at the detriment of relationships. You really got to strike that balance, because it can so easily tip one way.
Right.
So a lot of lessons, good and bad. So you got to take it all, and then you've got to learn.
Great to hear that you have someone so close to look up to in terms of entrepreneurship. I think it also shaped who you are as an entrepreneur as well today.
Fortunate enough, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the next question here to you is: do you think young people should start their own business, and why?
Okay, this is quite tricky, right? Okay, so everybody's got different aspirations, right? Some would, like, okay, just take me for example. I started wanting to become, I wanted to be it all. I wanted to become the policeman. I wanted to become, I wanted to join the army and all that. I wanted to do it all. So everybody's got different aspirations. Everybody would like to see them have a career in the corporate world. Climbing the corporate ladder. But that figure may not be cut off for everybody.
Right.
So for those who are not cut up for the career, for that career path, right? Maybe their own venture is an option. Right? You get to chart your own path. You get to do what you're passionate about. It starts off with passion.
Yeah.
entrepreneurship or starting business can start, well, from my understanding, from my experience, can start on two things. Passion, one. So you can start a business based on passion, or you start a business based on necessity. When you see a need, right, and you want to fulfill that need, right? So these are the two types. Oh wow, there are more reasons why people want to start their career, but it takes time. So you start with passion and you start with fulfilling a need. Yeah. So working on your own, that is it. Well, on the surface, it's all fun. You know, I'm my own boss. I don't have to answer to anybody. I can wake up as late as I want. I can do my work in my shorts or in my pajamas and all that. Yeah, but they've got to understand that there are a lot of other obstacles that will come along. See, it takes time to develop business. We've been doing it for 6 years and we are still learning, right? So, I mean, yes, start, but be mindful of the trials that you face, right? You want to chart your own growth path, so to speak. But always do your research, understand your strengths, know your weaknesses, right? But all in all, most importantly is to put in the hours, work with integrity, and then God willing, you'll succeed. So to keep it short, well, traveling back to the start of the question, yes, if the career path is not for you, then seek other opportunities, right? Or even if your career path hits a brick wall and you cannot find yourself going around it, evaluate your options. There will always be something in the horizon. So if venturing may get you beyond that brick wall, then yes, I think you should.
Great. Thank you so much for that
Welcome.
inspiring message to all the young people that, think that entrepreneurship should be the only way. Great. So thank you so much for your sharing. That's all I have for my question.
Okay.
Now we'll move on to the Q&A session. Since you kind of answered most of the questions already, there's one question that the audience asked. What do you think about collaborative projects with other companies? Is it a priority or to be put on hold compared to your internal or self-driven projects?
Collabs, right?
Yeah,
Trying to sound relevant, right? So collabs are good. We've had a couple of collaborations with other artisans and not woodworkers. So it was like us with concrete makers, us with clay makers. I mean, like pottery and all that, right? So it was mixed medium. So mixed discipline as well. So collaborations are good. Collaborations are good because of the joint marketing one, because you both are promoting to your audiences, to your own your own audiences. Yes, you're promoting. So there's cross marketing in that sense. There's also the ability of you tapping into a new market.
Right.
Because not necessarily your collaborative partners market, but because of the collaboration, it opens up a new market for you.
Right.
So that's good. And in a lot of collaborations also, everybody or both parties or multiple parties, if it's a multiple party collaboration, everybody will always bring in the best into it. Because of course, you don't go into a collaborative venture only to see it fail. So you're bringing the best of what you know, and then it is then whatever's lacking in that collaboration will always be picked up by your partner. So that's how collaborative partnerships or collaborative ventures are quite successful, but not all work out. You've got to set yourself at the same mindset, right? Understand why you're going into it, right? And manage your expectations out of it, because if you over expect, and then then somehow they might be overburdening the other party. You also do not want to sit and not do anything and let the other party do everything. So for us, we've had collaborations before. We're open to collaboration, but what we always do is that we always evaluate whatever's proposed to us. We must always evaluate, because we need to prioritize what is best for us at that given moment of time. You know, we've got our core business, and we've got this potential. So we must this potential collaboration that may or that will open up a whole new market. So we really got to evaluate our options, because we do not want to be biting more than we can chew, so to speak.
Right.
Because when that happens, then it saturates our quality of work. You know, so we will be caught in between. We'll be caught high and dry. We're neither here nor there. It's either we put in and we'll be pulled in so many directions again. So it's a lot about weighing the pros and cons of any collaboration that comes our way. Yeah.
Right. Great. Thank you so much for that insight. I guess that's it for all the Q&A session. Thank you so much, Adi, for sharing. Everybody, that was Adi from Adi and Aida sharing his experience at Tauke Talks, and brought to you by RISE and supported by City Foundation. So I think what really the main takeaway from this whole entire session for me personally, I think everybody also will get it, is that, like what Adi say, everything is a learning curve, and through that learning curve you actually learn how to balance your business and actually balance your way as an entrepreneur. And what he said about, which I think we can all take away in our own personal life, is that you must first have passion in order to do things. And if you even find a need, that's a good starting point for an entrepreneur. And I think the key quote here is, don't bite more than you can chew, which is, I think, is very true for a lot of people out there. So I hope everybody here feel inspired and motivated today. If you have enjoyed this session, or if you want to find out more about Adi and Aida, please do check them out through their Instagram. So if you want to know more, if you want to join more Tauke Talks in the future, a next Tauke Talk is coming out soon, next Wednesday, by Karava. Aida from Karava. So Karava is a business that actually sells handcrafts, Sarawakian handcrafts. And they're currently helping and working with almost 10 families in Sarawak. So if you're interested, please go and sign up for her session. And we're also currently having a creative competition where you can submit either poetry, short story, or comic of your choice. If you're the age of 16 to 28 and you would like to join this competition, please do join it via the link, and you can win up to 3,000 ringgit worth of prizes. Yep. Great. So I guess that is all for this Tauke Talk session. So if you would like to follow us personally, RISE, via our Facebook or our Instagram or our YouTube, our handles are written on the screen that you're seeing right now. Okay. Thank you. Thank you everybody for coming today, and we'll see you soon. And thank you, Adi, for blessing us with your wisdom today. Thank you for agreeing to be a part of Tauke Talks.
Thank you for having me on Tauke Talks.
Right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.